I just picked up this little Sylvania VCR DVD combo. My local thrift stores for $5. The thing says only DVD works, VCR doesn't work. So we'll dig into that and see what's wrong with it. But it did come with the remote, which is most of the stuff you buy you don't get the remote, so that made it worthwhile. So let's see what's wrong with it. Okay, so the mode switch that we need to clean that I think is causing the problems with the VCR is usually underneath the chassis here. So it's normally pretty easy to get these things apart. Gotta take the little faceplate off here first, and it's usually just little plastic keepers here that kind of hold it on. There we go, a couple on the top, one on the bottom. There we go. Okay, that's off. Alright, so there's some screws that hold on. I think we're going to have to take this off here. Just a cross brace. And we've got, let's see, a few screws here that hold this chassis in. Let's pull them. Two. Three. Four. I'll fetch that one. There may be one more. This, oh, there's this one hiding right here behind the heads. And this head cleaning thing, which I'll probably remove it at this point. In the age of these things, they usually just no longer works. Okay. So this one is from 2006. So it's not that old. Okay, still not moving, so maybe a screw on the bottom. So let me take a look here. What do I see? Let me turn the camera off and I'll look for what's holding it. Well, it's starting to look like there's some screws that attach the VCR chassis to the circuit board. And they come up from the bottom, but there's no access to the bottom of the plastic box. So it looks like I have to pull this whole thing out of the plastic chassis in order to get to the screws. So let me do that. Alright, so 4 screws. 1, 2, 3, 4 to remove the DVD chassis, and a couple ribbon cables. You just pull right off. Connect there and there. And there's still some pieces of plastic here that seem to be holding everything in. Get rid of this. Okay. piece of plastic here. Getting there. Oop. Almost loose. Okay. Delicate. There's all kinds of pieces of plastic here that you don't want to break. You got to work this chassis around, get the thing out. Okay. It's loose, but there's a wire right here holding this little thing on. Take that loose. We'll switch out front. Okay. There we go. And she's out. And there's that screw we couldn't get to. Looks like a grounding screw, maybe. Still something holding it on. Look some more. Alright, looks like there's a little screw right underneath this ribbon cable that was kind of hidden. Let's see if that'll do it. Oh, there we go. Something's moving now. Oh. There's a little strap. That's a ground strap. Still not moving. Alright, this thing was not designed to come apart for service. These later ones weren't really. It looks like these cables that connect the board are soldered in. So they're a little difficult to get out. But I was able to raise the chassis away enough to get to the mode control switches just right there. So I should be able to take that top off, clean it out, and see if that fixes this thing. I'm going to try that. Alright, and there it is right there. You can see these little contacts right in here that get dirty. And there's the top of the switch, and it has some little wipers that get dirty too. And so what happens is, that's how this mode control connects into this part right up here, which senses what position the VCR is in, and it sends that signal to the controller chip, whichever one of these is down here. And that lets the VCR know if it's loading a tape, unloading, fast forward or whatever. So if that gets dirty, the controller doesn't know what mode the VCR is in and just ejects the tape back out. So the symptoms that we saw of it eating tapes usually is a dirty mode control switch. So what I'll do is take a little deoxit and spray in there and clean that out, and put it back together, see what happens. Alright, now that mode control switch, after you pop it back together, you just run it around and with the contact cleaner in there to make sure that the contacts are making contact again. And it is indexed here. You can see in the top of this plastic thing here, right where my thumb is a little hole that this little peg goes in right there. So got to make sure that I line those up properly when I put this thing back together. Alright, I believe I got this thing plugged back in with the mode switch indexed properly. A few of the screws that came from the bottom up are kind of holding the chassis in there. So I'll go ahead and try to put the works back in the plastic chassis and see if I can get all the screws back in and test this thing out. Alright, got it all back together except for the faceplate and the cover on, so should be able to test this tape and see if it loads properly. That looks good. Let's see, let's try play. I think it's this button. Looks like it's working. Stop. Let's see, fast forward. Right here. And stop. Reverse. And reject. Okay, looks like it's all working, no longer eating tape. So I'll go ahead and clean the tape path and the pinch roller and the capstan and everything. Clean the heads. But it looks like this VCR is working again. So there you go, even in the 2006 unit, what is that, 2021, so it's 16, 17 years old. I guess that's pretty old by now. But this is definitely one of the last ones VCR is built, I would think. And even at this point, the mode control switches are getting so dirty that they no longer work and need to be cleaned. Of course, good luck finding somebody who, other than just a hobbyist, that knows how to work on these things for you. Here's another trick too. When you go to put the front cover back on, you always want to take this door and lift it up before you place it on. Otherwise it doesn't catch on the little thing here that opens the door when you stick a tape in. Okay, here it is loading the tape. That door, if you stick your tape in and it loads the tape, and you hit the eject button, and if it doesn't open the door, then you installed this incorrectly. Otherwise, that's the correct way. It should open the door and let the tape come out. Alright, let's go ahead and clean the tape path here. A little isopropyl alcohol. So just These little guides here you want to kind of clean up with the Q-tip. The erase head. This looks actually pretty clean. Here's the control track head and audio head. And that. And then capstan and pinch roller. And this looks really clean, actually. Not bad at all. Okay, now to clean the heads, I'll just do a little piece of paper here. Put some alcohol on it. And just put it against the head and spin it counterclockwise. And that will clean the re-record video heads, flying heads. Here we go. That's about it. Let that dry. Look it back in, make sure it's still working properly. Okay. Stop. Eject. Looks like it's good. I'll have to find a TV to hook it up to and see if it'll play. But VCR is working again, and the thing that came with it said that the DVD was already working. So I get some batteries for the remote, see if that works. And this will be ready to go.